The question we are asking tonight is, was the governor finally correct in waiting for the decision to come in from the Supreme Court, and all those political parties who were virtually baiting the governor, asking him to give an early verdict on who to call in, Sasikala or Panneerselvam, were they actually pushing him to take the state towards instability? And joining me this evening on debate number 1 is GVL Narasimha Rao, national spokesperson of the BJP, Lakshmi, leader of the AIADMK from the Panneerselvam camp, R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, KTS Tulsi, member of parliament from the Rajya Sabha and legal luminary, Durai Pandayan, member of the legal wing of the AIADMK, Americai Narayanan, political analyst, Apsara Reddy will be joining us in just a bit from now. She's the spokesperson of the AIADMK, and Vikas Singh, former additional Solicitor General of India. Durai Pandayan, let me take this question to you first. Durai Pandayan, do you think the verdict tomorrow is going to determine Sasikala's fate? In fact, the question many are asking is, why is Sasikala pushing towards becoming the chief minister, putting her bid in, even at a time when she knows such an important case is hanging like a sword on her head, and tomorrow the Supreme Court is going to give the verdict? Couldn't she have waited for a week before pushing Tamil Nadu into complete disarray? Is she being opportunistic?
There are very many reasons for this. Sasikala was convicted for Color TV scam as early as 2001, and then she even went to the extent of threatening the governor. All the MLAs are sacked and kept there in the bay, say for about, they claim them to be 139 MLAs. But the affidavit that was filed by the police officer before the High Court says only 129.
You're talking about history. We are talking about the opportunism of Sasikala at this moment.
Yes, tomorrow judgment, it will definitely be a conviction. 10% it is going to be a conviction, because all are documentary evidence.
So then what happens?
Which cannot be changed.
So what happens then? Mr. Durai Pandayan, what happens then if Sasikala is convicted tomorrow? Then the AIADMK legislators will have to elect a new leader. We also know that this probably means it's going to be interesting to see that those who have very conveniently been backing Sasikala till now, do you expect that they are going to start immediately trickling over to the other side?
Oh, you should have watched Mr. OP's statement today afternoon. He said categorically that he is in touch with 50 MLAs, in the camp of Sasikala with us. So there will not be any difficulty in, winning the floor test. Now, habeas corpus petition for Sangarangoil MLA, Chandra Prabha was filed. And again, Ponneri MLA, Sirniyam Balaraman, he is also found missing. His own brother-in-law has filed an application before the concerned police authority. Things are going like that. Now one VP Kalairajan has gone to an extent of telling that he will sever one of the hands of Mr. Panneerselvam. Atrocities and gundaism, hooligans work are going here. So we are not bothered at all about all this.
So let me ask Americai Narayanan.
We will definitely get it.
Americai Narayanan, Mr. Durai Pandayan, let me ask Americai Narayanan. Americai Narayanan, do you think the governor did the right thing by waiting for 8 days because he knew that the Supreme Court judgment was coming? Or do you think he's created a situation where there is ample opportunity for horse trading? Is that the result of the fact that today the Attorney General has also given an advice to the governor saying that there should be a dual resolution that should be brought on the floor of the House? Why was the governor waiting for so long? Why was it not done last week?
We don't have money to hire such a big lodge on a resort. We are just doing
governor,
house.
Not as a,
is like that.
He should have been acting as a constitutional authority. Instead, he is acting as a BJP's governor. For example, the Supreme Court said they will come up with a verdict only last Thursday. However, this whole drama took place almost a week back, wherein after Mr. OPS resignation, he waited for 3 days just being quiet away from the place of action, because he intentionally wanted to create an atmosphere where there will be horse trading and which will be in the interest of.
But no, Mr. Narayanan, the question is, the question put to you, Mr. Narayanan, the question put to you is, because it was that this Supreme Court verdict was awaited, wouldn't it be considered prudent of the governor to have?
They will come up the verdict until, please listen.
No, but this verdict was awaited, right? Well, no, 1 second. I'll allow you to conclude what you're saying, but I'm asking you, it was common and public knowledge that this verdict was awaited in the Supreme Court.
The governor knew that the Supreme Court will come up with a verdict. Only last Thursday, the Supreme Court said it will come up in a week. Now, till Thursday, why did
Anytime
he
they
wait
can
is
come.
the real question.
It is the discretion of the judges.
He intentionally wanted to
it is the
delay this thing to the
discretionary powers
advantage of
of the judges.
BJP in the upcoming election for the President of India. I think they were trying to deal with both Sasikala and OPS was more pliable because Mr. Reddy, who was arrested recently, was OPS friend. So they were able to push OPS.
Well, you're drawing too many conclusions, Mr. Americai Narayanan. You are drawing too many.
You are confused, Mr. Narayanan. You are confused.
GVL Narasimha Rao, respond to Americai Narayanan, who's saying both things, that you were trying to do deals with both OPS as well as Sasikala, which is why you kept the governor to keep this entire decision pending till such time that the Supreme Court verdict came in. Respond to that, GVL Narasimha Rao.
Navika, I cannot respond to somebody's absurd imagination. And in any case, what are these leaders? They both came from AIADMK. Why would we not talk to any political party in the country? We could talk to anybody. But the governor has a constitutional duty to perform, and he has done this as per his own understanding and as per the advice given to him by various experts. I think the governor knew, I think it's common knowledge, it doesn't require intelligence to understand there was a case that had gone to the Supreme Court and it was pending judgment. Certainly, governor is within his rights to understand when such a judgment is likely to come. If it was, you see, I don't know whether he may have made his own inquiries. And possibly it's because of this judgment, Sasikala was in a hurry to become chief minister. One can make that absurd comment also. But we have no favorites to play here. We certainly had a very fruitful association with AIADMK. We certainly needed their support in Rajya Sabha and that of every other party, including DMK, including Trinamool Congress. We would want to get support of everybody in legislation. It doesn't mean that we play favorites. For us, as a party, the BJP...
You're taking a holier-than-thou attitude, GVL Narasimha Rao. Let's face facts. That in politics, there's nothing called a ringside viewer. You know, you are always in politics playing one side or the other, because that's what politics does. It doesn't allow a vacuum, and it allows everybody to have their say, even if they do not have an MLA. But be that as it may, let me get in the legal view on this issue. We have with us Mr. KTS Tulsi, senior advocate and member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, and we also have former additional solicitor general Vikas Singh. Mr. KTS Tulsi, so far you had believed that the governor was delaying the entire issue. Now that the issue has come up and there is a Supreme Court verdict, would you like to admit at this point that the governor was probably right in his position, because he was not pushing the state towards instability? He did well in waiting for the Supreme Court verdict, which is going to come out tomorrow at 10:30 a.m.
No, I still maintain that the governor was wrong. The governor has to decide the question of qualification or disqualification of a particular person who lays the claim to the office of the Chief Minister on the date on which the claim is made. The governor is not entitled to speculate what will happen, because that is what pushes the state towards uncertainty and chaos. It is, however, a great tribute to Ms. Sasikala that in spite of all the opportunity for poaching and horse trading, the score today is 8 versus 120 plus. And they have not been able to break the unity of the party, and that speaks volumes for the skill, the political
but
skill.
Mr. Rajagopalan, the MLAs are being held against their will. That's the allegation
They
of
are
the
being held as a hostage in the city's resort.
That's only
If they are let free, they will also join. At least 50% of the MLAs will join Panneerselvam camp. Mr. Tulsi, you are wrong. It's not 8 versus 120. It is 8 versus 60.
I could be wrong, but let me say
coming
my
back
say.
to you, yes, Mr. KTS Tulsi, coming back to you. But the point is, Mr. Rajagopalan, that there are counter allegations on both sides. It's also the Sasikala camp which says that they are under threat from Panneerselvam camp, which is why they have felt the need to be holed up at this resort. So the allegations have been absolutely equal from both sides. But Mr.
Sasikala is in a hurry, madam. That is why she is pushing that.
Yes,
Sasikala is in a great hurry to become Chief Minister tomorrow morning.
There's no doubt about
That is
it.
why everything is happening.
No, Mr.
That is why she is pushing the state to the chaos.
KTS Tulsi and also Vikas
That is why she
Singh
locked
after
up.
that.
Why can't she free them, everyone?
The bottom line is, with the verdict now expected tomorrow, isn't it going to be a clear picture? It's going to be this way or that, and in a clear picture, that is when, you know, a prudent decision can be taken by the governor as to what needs to be done. If Sasikala gets convicted, then of course she will not be able to stake claim to be Chief Minister, because she'll have to win an election and she will be disqualified from doing that. But if she doesn't get convicted, then of course it's all out in the open, and there can be a floor test and she can prove her numbers. So isn't it therefore in hindsight perhaps the more prudent thing to have done? Mr. KTS Tulsi, and then Vikas Singh on the same question, please.
Yes, I want to say that you asked a question to Mr. Durai Pandayan as to whether she is being opportunistic and whether this judgment, if it is adverse, will demolish her political future. Well, I want to say that nothing demolishes the political future. This judgment will have adverse consequences for a certain period of time, but she is still the General Secretary, and therefore she is the boss of the party. She will continue to run, and she can always decide another person.
Well, is that so clear-cut, Mr. Vikas Singh?
My submission
Chidambaram does not have that view.
Mr. Vikas Singh, her very appointment as
Mr.
the
P.
General
Chidambaram says different thing.
Not even a
Mr.
single
Vikas
MLA
Singh,
will be there. To that extent, I know.
Okay, Mr.
If she
Vikas
is
Singh, let me get
if she
you
has
into
got
this
the
debate. Mr.
confidence
Vikas
of
Singh,
120
her
MLAs.
own appointment as the General Secretary was done by a certain individual. The same individual now questions her appointment as the General Secretary, says that rules were not being followed. The fact is that for a General Secretary to be elected, primary members of the party have to elect. In this case, it was not the primary members of the party who elected her as the General Secretary. So questions being raised even about that, Mr. Vikas Singh. Does that make the road clearer for Sasikala? And in that case, is it better that the governor actually waited for the verdict of the Supreme Court in hindsight?
Well, you know, this question about the power of the governor was specifically raised before the Constitution bench of the Supreme Court in the Arunachal Pradesh matter. And there I had specifically argued that the governor has a discretion in such matters, and because he is the man in the field and he has to see the situation as it is unfolding day by day, and he can take that discretion. But the Supreme Court ruled against, and Supreme Court said that once a clear-cut majority is expressed by the MLAs that who should be the chief minister, the governor thereafter has no discretion. Now, if you look at it in this situation, when the first claim was made by Sasikala, governor could not have anticipated that Panneerselvam will be able to, take 4 MPs with him 6 days later, or 5 MLAs will break out of the Sasikala camp and come to Panneerselvam 7 days later. Governor has to deal with the situation as it comes to him on the day it arises. It's like a warlike situation. Now, in this case, When the claim was made by Sasikala, there was no judgment of the Supreme Court. What will happen in the Supreme Court is a matter of speculation. Nobody can say that the Supreme Court is going to convict or going to acquit. Now, at that point of time, really speaking, this state has had no governance for the last 8 days since the time Sasikala staked the claim and since the time Panneerselvam resigned.
Which is true.
I mean, there is no, either there is president's rule or there is a chief minister. If the governor had felt that there is a case for, not administering oath to her, then he should have asked Panneerselvam to continue as caretaker chief minister till whatever he felt. But that discretion, according to me, he did not have after the judgment of the Supreme Court.
But the thing is that one still doesn't know what reason really was for this wait. Of course, we understand that one of the reasons could have been that this Supreme Court verdict was awaited. But there were other reasons. For example, the fact that Panneerselvam was alleging the whole time that the MLAs had been held up hostage against their will, whereas the opposite camp said the opposite thing, that the MLAs were hiding there because they were under threat from goons from the OPS camp. So I want to bring in Lakshmi now. Lakshmi, now let's look at the flip scenario. We've talked about what could possibly happen if Sasikala in fact gets convicted. Yeah, okay, very quickly then I'm going to bring in Lakshmi. Yes, please. Yes. I'm not able to hear what you say. Okay, Lakshmi, so I'm coming to you with this point. Now, we've talked about the fact that if Sasikala gets convicted, what happens? Let's ask you about the flip side, the other possibility. If she doesn't get convicted, then, the fact is, it's going to strengthen her case to be chief minister. If she's acquitted, is it not going to completely dent the prospects of Panneerselvam and also his camp, as well as all the defectors? Now, doesn't that mean that essentially she would immediately be able to come out, prove her numbers, which she says she has as of now? There's still 126, and that's an end to this rebellion or resistance or whatever you might call it from Panneerselvam and his camp.
Small correction, 119, not 21, 29.
Now the thing is, okay, the case has got nothing to do with Mr. Panneerselvam's decision. It was totally on different circumstances. You must be aware of it. There's no point in speaking about it now. The thing is, Mr. Panneerselvam right from the beginning had made it very clear that if he takes a floor test ever, he is willing to show majority, and he is willing to come out with big he is having confidence that he will win the vote of confidence from all the MLAs. That has been the stand of Mr. Panneerselvam right from the beginning.
Ms. Lakshmi, did you watch the press conference that was held by Sasikala earlier this evening at the resort, surrounded by the MLAs, where she was cheered and clapped and applauded by the very MLAs that you claim are being held against their will?
Those same MLAs, if the floor test is held tomorrow, are going to parade in front of everyone and take the floor test and going to array behind Mr. Panneerselvam, because they are very well aware that Mr. Panneerselvam is having the people's popular support. So they are definitely going to array behind. Otherwise, Mr. Panneerselvam would not have made such a decision earlier. You should be aware of that. You are not aware of the people's emotions in Tamil Nadu. They are all behind Mr. They don't want VK Sasikala. Only a few MLAs are there.
Well, that will have to be seen when there is an election. Ms. Lakshmi, at this moment, it is the numbers that have to be seen, and numbers at the moment are with Sasikala. Panneerselvam is not being able to break through the golden resort where these MLAs have been kept. He hasn't been able to get. We are seeing ones and twos and 7 and 8 MLAs coming. We have not seen hundreds of them coming.
She's a lady.
That's what I'm telling. Once the floor test is on,
sincere man, he cannot do that.
Vote of confidence is taken. Definitely, Mr.
Mr. Durai Pandayan,
floor test and come out with
Mr. Durai Pandayan, what is the claim that you're making, that because she's a lady, you cannot get the MLAs from her? I mean, what kind of logic is that?
Her statement. You better see her statement. What she made as that statement. If they are not calling upon in 2 days, then we will act in our own way. Will any woman make such statement? After that, follow her.
Yes.
Firstly, sir, it's not
that I
about
will
woman
sever
or
your
man.
hand.
If there is a veil threat,
Madam, I want to come in here, Navika. I want to come in here.
From a man or a woman. The point is whether you play the woman card or she plays the woman card. The woman card here in this scenario is entirely redundant.
My mother is a woman.
It has absolutely nothing to do with whether she's a woman or not. No, it has nothing to do with that. She's also tried to play the woman card for that matter.
Navika,
She's also said that people are opposing me because I'm a woman. That argument too is entirely redundant, Lakshmi, because the fact is you're talking about taking on the legacy of someone, the tallest leader of the party who passed away recently, and that was also a woman. So the woman card is redundant here. That has nothing to do with anything in this scenario.
Okay, I apologize.
The woman or man has got nothing to do with that.
Statement remains.
It doesn't. Man has got nothing to do with that.
Okay, let's take the legal question back to Mr. KTS Tulsi. Mr. KTS Tulsi, even if the Supreme Court were to give a verdict which declares Sasikala guilty, where is the guarantee that, you know, the entire drama is over? Sasikala could appoint her own titular head as her successor. Just as in the case of Lalu Prasad's conviction, there was Rabri Devi who was set up and who took over as Chief Minister of Bihar. The question is, why do we think that the verdict tomorrow, if it declares Sasikala guilty, will put an end to the entire debate in Chennai? Can the debate still prolong after the verdict tomorrow, Mr. KTS Tulsi?
You see, I don't think these 120 plus MLAs that are there, they are a homogeneous group. In spite of all the pressures, all the temptations and all
they are not homogeneous, sir. They are not homogeneous.
By the central government,
yes.
By the central government and in cohorts with OPS and his group, they have not been able to break through that. So therefore, they will democratically elect someone else. And then they will go in for a vote in the House. The question really is...
Mr. Rajagopalan, are these 119 MLAs a homogeneous group, Mr.
No, they are not homogeneous. They are not homogeneous, they are heterogeneous, because there are 60 people of Panneerselvam camp still kept in the custody of Sasikala. Now, whatever is that legal point or political point, tomorrow morning 10:30, the Supreme Court... No, Tulsi Sahib, 1 second. Tomorrow morning 10:30, the Supreme Court will give its verdict, but at the same time, Attorney General has advised the Governor to give 1 week's time for floor test. Political story is for floor test. That will happen either Monday or Tuesday next week. Therefore, the tomorrow morning judgment is judicially different, but political importance will be for the next week thing. Not till then.
GVL Narasimha Rao, you believe that if Sasikala is convicted, this drama will come to an end, or do you think still there are several questions that will remain unanswered? After all, what prevents Sasikala from, appointing somebody who's absolutely close to her and a loyalist as the next chief minister, even if she's convicted?
Absolutely no chance.
Nothing prevents her. I think you see. Let me. Can I? Okay. What is important? There are many plots and subplots in this. It is not just the eligibility. I think the other angles are, one, OPS, who actually recommended, who proposed her name in the legislature party which elected her. I think he has withdrawn that. He said, I have not done it out of my own will. I was forced. He also says he was forced to resign when he was not wanting to do it himself. And then there are some leaders who have gone to election commission saying she is not a elected general secretary, therefore her diktat or her expulsion of MLAs or the expulsion of party leaders is not valid. So there are so many complicated issues. But what is important for government formation is who enjoys majority in the state assembly, and that is the only question. Who has popular support, who has media support, who has support of ABC or the founders is of no importance. Technically, whoever enjoys majority support will eventually prevail.
Yeah.
Will eventually that person will be the chief minister.
It's going to come down to the numbers.
If she is eligible,
that's exactly the point. So now, I want to bring in Vikas Singh back into this. Now, Vikas Singh, in the event of a split judgment, let's say, in the Supreme Court, in the matter then being passed on to a larger bench, isn't Sasikala still in a strong position? Because what will then happen is that the matter goes back to the Supreme Court. That creates a further time lag where the governor then must call for a floor test, and wouldn't you then agree in that scenario the floor test must be called for as soon as possible?
Again, a bench comprising 3 judges will be formed.
Then the matter will be, then the High Court judgment.
The question is to Vikas Singh, please.
High Court judgment will remain, and the matter will have to be referred to 3 judges. So the High Court judgment will remain. The matter will be reheard again. So there will be no question of Sasikala being disqualified. But if you ask me, the opinion given by the Attorney General today clearly suggests that it is the centre which is behind all this, because there is no question of a composite floor test when all the MLAs are with Sasikala and a minuscule 5-7 MLAs only have gone to OPS. And that
but
too,
that's
when
only
the
her
original call for making Sasikala the Chief Minister, that was made unanimously by all the MLAs. So basically the governor could not have foreseen that in future he could not have said that something is going to happen in future, and that even if Sasikala were to be disqualified, this controversy will still continue, because they don't want to give the nominee of Sasikala power. They want it to be OPS and OPS alone.
That is internal politics of AIADMK. That is internal politics of AIADMK.
Mr. Vikas Singh, do you think the constitution
the governor
has some
is
grey
playing
areas when
politics
it
at
comes
the behest of the
to
centre?
the governor's discretionary powers?
There is no discretion with the governor to not
Can I come in?
The governor is completely powerless in terms of the Supreme Court judgment.
Okay, GVL Narasimha Rao.
He has created a vacuum in the state. He has created a vacuum in the state. Today there is no governance in the state.
No, he is speaking like a Congress
He has
party
created a
spokesperson.
complete vacuum in the state.
I think the Bombay judgment and all the judgments, all the judgments clearly say it's only on the floor of the House that eventually a proof of majority can be made. I think he's saying based on what number she has, I think she should be made.
But there is a controversy. Here there is no controversy.
But the question Vikas Singh and also
that question arises if there is...
No, but
I think
question Vikas Singh is what is the problem with the composite floor test? What is the problem
here
with
there is
the
no controversy right from the beginning. You are creating a controversy.
To both sides to prove their numbers.
There is a controversy. Why should P. Chidambaram take a different line then? Mr. Vikas Singh, why Chidambaram says governor should be given time?
Where is the credible
he is differing from you.
OPS.
Your argument.
Where is the credible claim by OPS for there to be a composite?
Where is the credible claim by Sasikala?
Credible claim by OPS.
No, except on 128 MLAs, why they are arrested? Why they are being harassed?
Second, if you're questioning the credibility of those claims, well, there are counterclaims from both sides, and I'd like Durai Pandayan to come in on this. Where is the credibility of OPS's claims, Mr. Durai Pandayan? He only has 8 MLAs with him. Where is the credibility of the claims of numbers?
Now you cannot say, and the high time for us to maintain
unless
all the
you are wanting to buy at the
because,
time of
tomorrow, he had already told, categorically told that he is in touch with 50 MLAs. You cannot ask me how, and I am not in a position to explain you how. Because Sasikala is capable of doing anything.
Mr. Durai Pandayan, Mr. Durai Pandayan, even if he has 50 MLAs, that's also not a majority position that he is in. Even if he gets 50 MLAs, it's not a majority position.
Sorry to disappoint you. As far as this question is concerned, my hands are tied. I cannot say anything. But on the floor, we will prove our strength.
But that is a situation. What if Sasikala is invited and asked to prove her majority on the floor of the House? Do you think MLAs will vote for Sasikala or Panneerselvam?
Tomorrow at 10:30 she'll be sent back to jail.
Are you so sure that the court verdict is going to be against Sasikala?
We will face the consequences.
No, but are you absolutely sure that the court verdict will be against Sasikala?
Definitely, it is all documents, it is all documentary evidence. It cannot be changed or it cannot be overcome.
Okay, so then Mr. Durai Pandayan,
it is against her.
Then let me ask you the question. Sasikala was only a co-accused in the case. No, I am asking you, Mr. Durai Pandayan, that if the verdict is against Sasikala, then Sasikala was only a co-accused in the case. The actual verdict will then be against Jayalalitha. So then what happens to the AIADMK? What happens to your moral authority?
Excuse me, you don't allow me to answer at all. Excuse me. She was read under section 34, that is common intention of IPC. Since my lovely leader, Puruchi Thalaivi Amma, is no more, the charge against her abates. So the full case will be focused only on Sasikala. Please understand, allow me to say.
No, that's only because...
My subject.
Mr. Durai Pandayan, we agree with you. The fact is, because of Jayalalitha's passing away, of course, this verdict is going to have no bearing on her. But the question to you is, the case itself is against her, in which Sasikala is a co-accused. So if there is an adverse verdict, then at the very least, it throws bad light. Because Jayalalitha is the main accused in that case.
The court cannot pass a verdict on a dead person. The court cannot pass a verdict.
No, the court can't. That's not what we are saying. I think you're not understanding.
You are not understanding the real point, Mr. Pandayan. Mr. Pandayan, the question we are asking you is that the original case was against Ms. Jayalalitha. Mr. Durai Pandayan, the original case was against Jayalalitha. Sasikala was only a co-accused. Now, because Jayalalitha has passed away, even if Sasikala is found to be guilty.
Both of them are read under section 34. Common intention. The balance is equal. Intention common to all, also same conviction.
So you are saying the common intention is also against Jayalalitha?
A dead person. The court. Hello, I cannot. I'm left with no other alternative except to quit my seat.
Well, Mr. Rajagopalan, he is deliberately obfuscating.
But he is not answering the question, Navika. What can we do?
Deliberately obfuscating the issue, Mr. Rajagopalan. Mr. Rajagopalan,
it will also tell upon
Jayalalitha goes against Sasikala, Mr. Rajagopalan. That means that there is an indictment of Jayalalitha as well.
Of course, there is an indictment on Jayalalitha.
So, what happens to the AIADMK in that case? The DMK will have the moral high ground to say that the AIADMK is not in a position to actually govern the state.
It will also having an immediate effect on Jayalalitha's personality. And whatever Navika has asked, it will also tell upon the AIADMK's credibility.
Okay, Mr. KTS Tulsi. Mr. KTS Tulsi.
Navika, please. Allow me to talk. Just give me 1 second. I'll explain you. You know, like no judge, no court can pass a verdict against a dead person. They will say A1 is charged under such and such sections. Since she is no more,
sir, we are not saying that the court is going to pass a judgment against a dead person. So that's not.
But it will recoil on Jayalalitha, sir.
But it's a matter of perception.
Mr. Pandayan, it will also indirectly hit Jayalalitha.
Perception.
No, my brother Narasimhan.
It casts a certain it casts a certain negative light also on Jayalalitha and her legacy, because obviously she's also part of this particular case. But I want to get in Mr. KTS Tulsi also on the point of the fact, let's remind our viewers here that this particular case, this verdict that we are awaiting, is a verdict on a petition which challenges an acquittal. Let's remind our viewers that it is an acquittal by the Karnataka High Court which has been challenged in the Supreme Court, and therefore Mr. KTS Tulsi, for all those here tonight who are saying that they are extremely sure of an adverse verdict for Sasikala, are they jumping the gun?
Of course they are. You know, it is a huge complication, because if Ms. Jayalalitha is no more, the court can't sentence her to prison. And yet, if they are going to appreciate the evidence, she was the only public servant amongst the accused. The others are abetting with her. And if they uphold that evidence, it will be upheld against a person who is no more. And that is the complication. You can't say that I believe this evidence for this person and do not believe the same evidence against the other. So it is going to cast a shroud, and the courts are not willing to normally pass conflicting judgments with regard to the same evidence. And I think that it's not as straightforward it is quite complicated, and it's become more complex as a result of the passing away of Ms. Jayalalitha. But I can say that even if Ms. Sasikala were to go to jail, let us assume that she has to go to jail. It doesn't matter. Ms. Jayalalitha from the jail governed the state, and she controlled the party. There was nothing which she never lost grip on the situation. And I don't think Sasikala, who's battle won, battle hardened for 33 years, living with Ms. Jayalalitha, she is going to lose grip merely because she is sitting in the prison. Nothing happens.
Well, she can't be.
She already lost the grip. She already lost the grip. 10 MLAs, MPs have gone out.
She can control the party, but she can't be chief minister for sure. For that, she'll have to either appoint somebody who's close enough.
She can't be Sonia Gandhi.
But GVL Narasimha Rao will, in such a situation, if Sasikala is found guilty tomorrow, if she is convicted tomorrow, GVL Narasimha Rao, will it give DMK an upper hand in Tamil Nadu politics, and does that mean bad news for the BJP?
No. Never.
I don't understand this complicated logic.
Question.
I find this logic very complicated and convoluted, Navika. I don't know how conviction of...
What's convoluted about it, GVL Narasimha Rao? GVL Narasimha Rao, what's convoluted about this logic? It's very straightforward. It's very straightforward. If there is a conviction for Sasikala, she's only a co-accused and accused in the abatement. The original case is against J. Jayalalitha, which means the legacy of J. Jayalalitha itself will be questioned. What is so convoluted about that logic, Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao?
No, Navika, I think you think DMK has covered itself with glory. I think there is a huge question mark about the credibility of the DMK. The Congress party, the Gandhis, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, they are facing thousands of crores of scams themselves personally. They are involved in a case where KTS Tulsi is trying to bail them out. So certainly, I think none of them have covered themselves with glory. And this conviction is actually not going to really make any difference to J. Jayalalitha, who is deceased. And I think this, and then where does BJP come in all this? Even if it affects the legacy of Dr. Jayalalitha, or even if it helps or affects DMK, how does it matter to the BJP? We certainly are a party.
GVL, the allegations
we would
that
like
have
to
come
grow
from
on
all
our own
quarters,
steam in every state.
GVL, because the allegations from all quarters is that the centre is keen on OPS continuing as chief minister. That's the allegation that has come very categorically from the opposition parties, from the Congress as well, saying that this is exactly why the governor has been delaying so that he allows time to get team OPS to be able to manufacture these defections from the other side.
No, but only at the beginning of the debate, you yourself asked questions as to was it not a right decision on the part of the governor? And anybody with common sense will say governor acted appropriately. No. If a judgment is coming tomorrow morning, if you had actually sworn in somebody a week ago,
well, it's not actually tomorrow morning, and let me get in Vikas Singh, is it tomorrow morning or is it 8 days later? And at that time, did the governor know that the judgment was coming on Tuesday, on the 14th of February?
It's common. He could have made inquiries. Why are you assuming governor would not be well informed? Why he would not make his own inquiries?
By the minute and by the hour. And in this case, even if Sasikala were to be supposing non-suited because of this judgment tomorrow, what stops her from nominating somebody of hers to become the chief minister? And the controversy will still remain because the BJP
party will not be united. Party will not be united.
Take over. They want OPS.
That's the whole point.
They want
Can
OPS.
Sasikala appoint somebody who's close to her? Will we see a repeat of Lalu Prasad Rabdi Devi affair in Tamil Nadu as well? Will we see that repeating itself?
No,
is our constitution clear on that, Vikas Singh?
The MLAs are with her.
The dynamism changes, Navika. The dynamism changes. The politics changes. Once Sasikala nominates and third person, then her authority goes.
So the center will not
highlight once again the delay.
That is
not
why,
as if from day one the governor knew that the Supreme Court verdict would be expected on Tuesday. That was not something that was known at the start. I want to once again highlight it was on the 5th of February when Sasikala was elected leader of the legislature party. It was on the same day Panneerselvam tendered his resignation citing personal reasons.
And there was no controversy then.
She sought an appointment with the... Yeah, and Sasikala sought an appointment with the governor on 5th February itself. Now the point is, why did the governor not react on 5th February?
Because the Congress did the politics of approaching the Supreme Court. Why should Karnataka government led by Congress raise this matter? It is Congress who played politics. And Vikas Singh should know that. They legalized the politics.
Okay. So Americai Narayanan.
The
Congress did politics. Governor take note of it.
Did the Congress
governor did the right thing?
I'm talking about because the legal appeal was done a long time back, number one. Number two, you rightfully pointed out very clearly, the BJP governor did not have the idea that Supreme Court...
And Congress raised it in Supreme Court.
This week.
Mr. Americai Narayanan, you must know that. Why should Congress raise this? Otherwise, governor would have sworn in Sasikala.
According to me, BJP government
is playing...
The caretaker chief minister right under his nose, right at the opposition leader, somebody is pointing out the gun. It just creates a problem because nobody is in authority. The governor has created a law and order situation by procrastinating and trying to prop up the BJP. The governor intentionally, now it's not only talking about horse trading.
If Congress would not have raised it in Supreme Court, governor would have definitely sworn in Sasikala. He would not have been an impediment.
Well, the
Supreme Court would not have been an impediment.
The governor could have done. The jury is out on what the governor could have done. Could he have exercised his discretion on the 5th of February or any day before that? But the big question is...
Wednesday, when the verdict is going to be given.
Navika,
so it is
one
only
line.
a lame excuse.
Well,
it is Congress which said, Supreme Court said that.
I'm completely out of time. GVL Narasimha Rao, quick, 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
You seem to have all the
You see, today, in today's newspapers report, Justice P.B. Sawant, who delivered the Bommai judgment, which still now stands as the testimony for all such cases, has said what the governor has stated, what the governor has done is the right thing, and he should in the course of next few days take a decision. I think in the meanwhile,
we can continue to differ on the question of whether the governor has done the right thing or has the governor done the wrong thing. The political divide is completely clear on this one. We are also seeing a legal divide on this entire situation. Legals actually backing the governor and some like KTS Tulsi and Vikas Singh questioning the governor's moves. But whichever way you look at it, it's going to be a thriller Tuesday tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. when the verdict on the Sasikala case comes out. The entire dice will be cast and we will know which way the political theatre of Tamil Nadu is going to go. Will Sasikala be convicted, paving the way for O. Panneerselvam swearing in, or will she be declared absolutely free, and will she put in her stake and throw in her hat into the ring to be sworn in as the chief minister? All that will be clear. We'll bring you the big debate and the big story here on Times Now at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in. We'll get you the big story as it happens before you get to know about it from anyone else. Thank you for joining us here on debate number 1. To all our panelists, thank you very much. We'll take a short break and be back on the other side.